Hello. Just wanted to do an experiment on solving acrostics. So what is an acrostic? Here is an example of one right now. What you see in the center of the screen is a quote, a long quote, and every word in the quote can be found by filling in letters that are down in this clue section here. So, for example, this first letter of the first word is D1. Obviously, the 1 represents that it's the first letter in the quote. Down here is the 180th letter in the quote. And you know that that first letter can be found in clue D, right there. So what you have is an interplay between the filling in the quote up here and filling in the clues down here. There's a synergy that happens that is pretty cool. Another super interesting element of an acrostic is that when you complete it correctly, the first letter of every clue, when read down like so, is going to spell out the author of the quote and the source of the quote, which is usually a book of some kind. The other thing that you'll find in acrostics is that the clues here often, not always, but often have some connection to the theme of the quote itself. And so sometimes if you can figure out what the theme of the quote is, that actually helps you to solve some of the clues down here. The final result, what you have here at the end of the day, is the author and title, as we indicated. Now this is all done, you can do it manually, of course, in the back of the New York Times Sunday magazine on pen and paper, or you can do it here through xwordinfo.com. Other elements of the acrostic are that there are a few rules to keep in mind. One of them has to do with the way these letters either do or don't bleed over into each other. So for example, this word that starts with 61 and ends at 68, this stops at 68 because you can see there's a black square here. But this word here that starts with 108 does not stop here. The word actually bleeds over to this line. So this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letter word here. So how do you go about solving an acrostic? The first thing you would do is start down here in the clues. And a lot of times you're just taking guesses, educated guesses. A lot of it is trivia or historical knowledge or wordplay, the sorts of things that you would see in a crossword. So for example here, strategic finale, you need a 7-letter word for strategic finale, and I went with endgame. Element in some batteries and medications, I went with lithium. And again, we're guessing here. These answers could be wrong, but we're putting them in now just because they seem like a best guess. Similarly here, at worst, kind of retirement account, I'm going with Roth. I'm going with Castle here. 7th seal. This is the one I'm least confident about. This is evites right here for eco-friendly requests because it could be e-vites. But I'm not sure about that one. Then we have Magnus Carlsen, 5-time world chess champion. And what I'm noticing already here is possibly the theme being chess. So for example, we have endgame here. That is a chess term. Castle, of course, is a chess term for both protecting the king and the protected abode for kings. Over here we have Magnus Carlsen, chess champion. here's one clue that seems to also be about chess, because Bobby Fischer is a chess champion. This theme of chess in here suggests that the quote up here is likely to be about chess in some way, which makes me think that right down here, for example, no-win situation, I would go with, because of the chess theme, I'm going to go with stalemate. So one thing that's great about what the computer does is it when you fill in the clue, it fills in the corresponding letters up here in the quote. One way to check to see whether your answers are correct in the clues is to see whether the resulting words that you get up here in the quote make grammatical sense or are English words. So right here we have as, that is good, and an SO right here, so that's good, and that really helps. So now what we're seeing, now that we've filled in a few of these, and we probably could fill in more, but right now this is about as much as I'm going to fill in at this point. You can start to get some synergies going with what you see up here in the quote area. The elements that you should think about when you are filling in the quote section is basically follow rules of English, go with the most likely probabilities, and follow English rules and trend toward letters that are more common. So, for example, in certain words, you just absolutely know what the answer is because of process of elimination. So, for example, right here, WH blank T, there is really only one letter you could fill in here is the A. Now, I suppose wit, W-H-I-T, is a word, but very likely the letter that goes here is going to be an A. So let's go ahead and fill that in. Another real freebie that you often get is anytime you have three letters together, first of all, it's pretty likely that the word is the, and if you ever see a T or an H or an E in the proper positions, it is almost always going to be the. So you can just take a guess here and start filling in the thes. Here's one, and here's one. Do we have any other thes? Not yet. Some letters here, it's a little bit like Sudoku. Right here, you know that that this in the 70s square can really only be a few letters. It could be an F for if, it could be an N for in, it could be a T for it, an S for is, are the most likely. Uh-oh, what do we have here? We have a H. 43H is an A and 44Y is an A. Uh-oh. I gotta fix that one. This is gonna be an S for stalemate. Okay, now we're good. I don't know how that happened.